Hello all, I am Miss Amruta Jadhav ma'am, your physics teacher. I am welcoming you all to the series of lecture which deals with the nature of wave and optics also. And here we are with the next part, which is part 7 of wave optics, in which we are going to deal with the new term which is optics. That means we have studied all about wave yet, and now we are going to study about the relation between wave and optics. All right, so this is the basic about our today's lecture. So let's quickly move towards the revision and then what points we are going to deal in today's lecture. Let's see. So here are the points which we are going to revise. Is first one, diffraction. Yesterday we have seen the term which is known as diffraction. What exactly diffraction is? Diffraction is nothing but when a ray of light is moving in forward direction. Obviously it is a wave, so it travels in a straight line. But when some obstacle comes in between the path of ray, what happens there? It creates a shadow, and that shadow we known it in physics language as darker point. So we can say diffraction is bending of light near the edges of an obstacle, and it turns out to be inside the shadow region, and it creates a shadow region. And the best example which we deals daily with this example is nothing but sunset and sunrise. When sun sets, it gives the ray of light and spreading of light all over the sky, and we can see the miracle in which all sky becomes quickly in another color, which is orange color or yellow color. So that is the best example of diffraction. All right, then what we have seen? Types of diffraction. We have seen types of diffraction. First one is Fraunhofer and second one is Fresnel. How they distinguish between two of the types? By the distance between source and the screen, or the obstacle and the screen. When the distance is infinite, we get one type of diffraction, and when the distance becomes finite, we get the another type. And what is that type? When the distance between source and screen, or obstacle and screen, is infinite, we get Fraunhofer diffraction, and the distance is finite, then we get the Fresnel diffraction. And we have seen the difference between them. One of them will be having spherical wavefront, and one of them will having plane wavefront. These all are the points which we have already discussed in last lecture, right? Then experimental setup for Fraunhofer's diffraction, that obviously we have seen. What is the experimental setup and how it can be set to get the Fraunhofer diffraction. And even the next point, which is Fraunhofer diffraction at a single slit. We have seen the single slit experiment and how we can get the diffraction, which is Fraunhofer diffraction. So these are the points which we have covered in the last lesson, and this you are going to revise. Just take a minute and rewind and revise all these points which we have come across in the last lecture. Okay, so let's move towards for the today's lesson or today's lecture, that is nothing but the main concept which is going to deal with resolving power. We are going to see resolving power. Then limit of resolution. What will be the limit to resolve any two elements or to any objects? That term we are going to see. Then Rayleigh's criteria, which deals with limit of resolution, that we are going to see. Okay, then these all are the points which we are going to deal. Mainly the concept is nothing but resolving power, and the terms which are related to that we are going to clear in today's lecture, and in tomorrow's lecture or the lecture which is next to this, on that we are going to see the application of resolving power. That means application of resolving power in telescope, in radioscope, in microscope, that we are going to deal. Okay, so today we are going to clear the concept which is resolving power. Fine. So let's see what is resolving power. Now, before moving towards the typical definition, I wanted to tell you some example. Then you will come to know exact idea about resolving power. Okay, the word which is resolving power. Resolve. What is meaning of resolve? Resolve is nothing but separation. What is the separation? Separation of two objects. Okay, when there is two object which is very far away from you and they are looking like only one object, but when you try to go closer to that objects, closer, more closer, then you will recognize that the object is not only one, the objects were two. Means what? When we distinguish between the objects, that is nothing but resolve, and the power by which you can resolve that two elements or two objects is nothing but resolving power. Now in this we are going to study about some optical instrument that I have just said to you, that resolving power of microscope, of telescope. Now what exactly the optical instrument does, they gives you the idea about minor details of all the parts of the object which are we are going to see inside that, or it will give you the idea about distinct images of different nearby objects. All right, and main purpose of that optical instrument is nothing but magnification. We usually use mobile, and right now we are using mobile, in which we can if you click on the image you can zoom out that image. When you zoom out that image you can resolve that picture and you can clarify or magnify that image, and you can distinguish all the elements which are there inside the pic. So this is nothing but resolving power. A very easy example which is given in your textbook is, they have said that consider one friend which is showing two finger, which is victory sign, from a distance which is less than 10 meter from you. Then you will be easily point out that your friend is showing a victory sign, that she wins some race, or she wins some anything, she wins, and she is that friend is showing victory sign to you. It can be easily recognized. But if that friend goes very far away from you, and suppose it is very far away, that is from 30 kilometer, 40 kilometer, 50 kilometer away from you, and that friend is showing you victory sign, you will not getting what that friend is telling to you. That means you can't distinguish between the two fingers. You may find out she or he is shaking hand, or she is showing one finger, she is pointing out towards you, anything you can guess. But when that friend is very near to you, which is within the 10 meter of distance, you can easily distinguish that she or he is showing victory sign, two fingers to you. But when it goes very far away from you, you will not be able to distinguish the two fingers. You can say she or he is shaking hand and she is pointing towards you, or he is pointing towards you. So this is nothing but the resolving power, and this may change from person to person. Why I am saying this? Because this depends on the optical nature of your eye also. So the ability to distinguish two physically separated objects as two distinct objects is nothing but resolving power. The ability to distinguish two physically separated objects as two distinct objects is known as the resolving power of optical instruments. Okay, so this is all about resolving power. Okay, when we are saying the example of that friend, then I becomes the optical instrument that I have told you. So the resolving power for everyone will goes on changing, as when you are not able to see the nearby object, you go to the optician you goes to the doctor, and the doctor will show you some chart on which numbers and alphabets are written over there, and you have to recognize all the letters. First line is very zoom letters, then they are zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, and at the last it is very rarer, and they seems like only ends are going on the paper. So this depends on person to person. And how it depends? So it gives you the angle when you are looking at two object, both the points, when they are distinct object, distinct things, they will fall on your retina, the rays will come towards your retina of eye, and they will again try to look at the objects which are there in front of you, and that may change from person to person. Some person may see or read all the charts without specs, and someone which cannot read the third line of the chart also. So that depends. So even for the optical instrument, it depends on the optical instrument which you are going to use. Okay, so on what the resolving power of an optical instrument depends? It depends on the aperture, that means the diameter of the lens or mirror, and the wavelength of light which is being used. So this is the dependence of optical instruments. Okay, now here is the diagram which is showing something. When you look at this diagram, you will see only red color dotted or something over there, but it is not dotted lines over there. What is that? Can you see what is that? If you zoom in, or if you try to concentrate on this image, you will see something. Can you see 5 number in that? Yes, number 5 is there inside it. Again try to read, you will see 7 number, 1, and at last you will come to know it is 571. So what is this? This is nothing but resolving power of our eye. Okay, when we are saying object to be resolved, it is the minimum visual angle between two objects that can be resolved by an element. We are getting the rays by some angle, and this minimum angle is called as limit of resolution. Okay, and the reciprocal of this limit of resolution is known as resolving power. So this is the relation between limit of resolution and resolving power. I hope you all get the basic idea about resolving power. Now there is one criteria which gives you idea about this. See, there are some points which we have already discussed. Resolving power of optical instrument depends on which factors. These all we have discussed already. The minimum angle, visual angle between two objects that can be resolved by that instrument, this minimum angle is called as limit of resolution, and the reciprocal of limit of resolution is called resolving power. Okay. Next, one criteria is there which gives you idea about limit of resolution, and which is being given by a scientist whose name is Rayleigh. So he gives the Rayleigh's criteria for limit of resolution. What exactly limit of resolution, or what exactly the Rayleigh's criteria is, let us see. As we have seen, the ability of instrument to distinguish between two closely spaced objects depends upon the diffraction patterns of the two objects. Either they are in slits form, or point object, or stars are there, etc., produced at the screen. Screen means it may be a retina of your eye, eyepiece of microscope or telescope. According to this criteria, two objects are just resolve when the first minimum of the diffraction pattern of one source coincide with the central maximum of diffraction pattern of the other source. Okay, This is all about the typical definitions of this. Let us try to see the diagram, then you will come to know exactly about this. So see over here this diagram. The first one is a point is there, and you will see some waves around it. So this is not at all resolved. What we have said, if there are two elements, then if we distinct the object as two objects, then we can say it is resolved. So what is meaning of just resolve is nothing but when the central maximum of one is coinciding with the first minimum here. These are just resolved. They're trying to resolve, and this completely resolved. These are resolved elements. Okay, so this is all about the Rayleigh's criteria. What exactly he gave according to this Rayleigh's scientist Rayleigh, the ability of an optical instrument to distinguish between two closely spaced objects depends on the diffraction pattern. It actually depends on the diffraction pattern of two objects. Either it is a slate or it is a object, point object or a star. If you consider a point object, then it will give you a ring-like structure. When it is a slit, then it will give you a interference pattern. So on this it depends. So have a look at the second diagram. Second line graphical representation is there. In the first they are unresolved, they are completely merged. In second they are try to separate out. So this is nothing but just resolved. And last one is well resolved. Okay, so this is Rayleigh's criteria. You can clearly noticed. Now as he said that either the diffraction pattern is for linear objects or for point object. Now first to consider about two linear objects. If we are considering a two linear object, then how this criteria will go for this. Now we are going to consider two self-luminous object, that means slits we are going to consider. Alright, and they are separated by some distance. As per Rayleigh's criteria, what will happen? The first minimum of diffraction pattern of one of the source should coincide with the central maxima of the second. Alright, so for that purpose, angular separation should be there. That angular separation is given by d theta. Why d over there? Because that two objects are very close to each other, so the distance between them is very small, and the angle of separation obviously will be small. So that can be written as d theta, and it is given by lambda, which is wavelength, divided by a, where a is the distance between the two objects. Okay, as this is minimum and coinciding with the central maxima, hence they are giving the limit of resolution. So limit of resolution is d theta, which is lambda by a. Then if we are considering that two linear objects are just resolved and they are at a distance capital D, suppose distance between them is capital D, then we have to multiply that limit of resolution by that distance. So you are getting y as d into d theta. So what is d theta over here? Which is nothing but lambda by a. By substituting the value of d theta in this equation, we are getting d lambda upon a. So what you got from that equation? What exactly that equation gives you? It is obviously the distance of first minimum from the center, that y. Okay, now the second one, which is pair of point object. A linear object we have considered, now pair of point object. In this case, what exactly happens? See the diagram over here. Look at the diagram, and in this diagram you can see, if we consider a microscope, quite often is used in such kind of experiment, that is point object. Alright, the diffraction pattern of such object consisting of central bright bands, because the aperture is in not in slit form, it is in circular form, and when the ray of light is incidenting on the aperture, then it will give you a brighter or darker disc like structure, and that is called as Ayres disc and rings. You can see over there in first diagram here. These are the disc which is formed. Ayres disc, we are saying that. Now another scientist which come across for this is Abbe, and Abbe was the first to study this truly, and he applied that to Fraunhofer diffraction. What is Fraunhofer diffraction? When the distance between them is infinite. Okay, now the second picture is actually real picture of a Ayres disc, which is formed by passing a laser beam, which is red laser beam, through a 90 micrometer pinhole aperture, and which gives you the many rings over that. Okay, according to that Rayleigh criteria and the scientist Rayleigh, for such objects to be just resolved, what we can apply over here? In the first, what we applied, the central maxima should overlap with the minimum of the first one, right? But what in this case, what we can apply to say that objects are just resolved? So for this, the first dark ring of the diffraction pattern, of first object should be formed at the center, which is here. It is obviously dark. Okay, should be at the center of diffraction pattern of the second, and vice versa. In other words, minimum separation between the images on the screen is radius of the first dark ring. You can zoom it out by using microscope, and you can take the readings of all the rings radius, and the minimum radius is nothing but of the first dark ring is nothing but limit of resolution, and by using that you can find out the resolving power. Okay, I hope you all got this. So this is all for today, and what we have learned in today's lecture, we have learned resolving power, limit of resolution, and after that we have seen what when the resolving power is coming across, the new concept which is known as Rayleigh's criteria. That Rayleigh's criteria we have seen for linear objects also and for point object also, in which we have seen the Ayres disc, which is new concept to you all. Okay, so this is all about today's lecture. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any query, do comment. Thank you.